Okay, so moving along, we have another exciting video, I think. Brandon, he is close to getting back to work because he did provide some prep today, including the new Osundairo Brothers video. The Osundairo Brothers, who was the brother team I compared to the Osundairo Brothers the other day? I can't even remember.
Oh, boy, I don't remember.
They're one of the great brother teams out there. They were the ones that pulled off the Jussie Smollett attack.
Right.
Upon Jesse's instructions. And these guys, I don't know, I really, considering what all happened, I ended up really liking them.
Yeah, they seem pretty likable.
They really did try to hold up the story. They tried to hold out for Jussie Smollett. And after the Chicago police, who had spent a few hundred hours investigating this thing, just said, you know what, we need these guys to come clean. This is bullshit. And they kept hounding their lawyer, hounding them, and they finally said, okay, here's what happened. And I don't think they were charged. I think they basically got a deal.
Well, yeah. Well,
Jussie Smollett says they're big fat liars, but here they are telling their story, which I thought, I don't know, they just seem like likable guys, don't they? Yeah. And even their interactions with Smollett that came through in the course of that case, they sounded like really cool guys.
Yeah.
The actor that nobody ever heard of.
Playing a part.
So here they are explaining.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked them. So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right here, right above the stairs
nice
that we're
building.
going to attack him at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m.
It's in the mega land,
on
right?
the dot. We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason, but you can deduce your own reason. So 2 a.m., he was nowhere to be found. He was not there.
You know why they're a great brother tandem team? Because one guy's telling all the story and the other's just standing there looking like a tough badass.
Yeah, he's got his sunglasses on. He does look badass with his turtleneck.
Yeah.
So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, what, 4 minutes?
It was about 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
But it felt like forever.
Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. Gotta go get this empire.
So they're walking over there.
Oh, nice reenaction.
Yeah, that's him. Is that him?
That's that Nick.
It's that Nick.
Get that Nick.
He's moving fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that Nick.
Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said hey to get his attention. Hey.
I think they're better actors than Jussie Smollett is.
I love the feigned anger.
Wouldn't you rather hire them than Jussie Smollett, even without this incident? I think they're better actors.
Hey! He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey!
Aren't you that Empire?
Empire fat Nick.
Pause for 1 second.
It's MAGA country.
What? Seeing this black guy yell it's MAGA country with his badass brother with him, it just looks so really tight shirt. Funny. Wow. But Smollett, I wonder if we can find Robin's interview with Smollett.
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
He's going to point out how important it was to Jussie Smollett.
Thank you, Jussie.
For him,
there she is at the end.
For him to be getting some blows in.
Yeah.
Because
he loved the story, man.
He wanted to tell Robin that, by the way, I'm not just some weak gay guy. I got some good shots in. A fucking liar.
Big time.
And it's hard to imagine.
Mike Tyson.
I don't know. It's hard to imagine to me. This guy is on Empire making, was it like $125,000 an episode?
Yeah, doing really well.
A lot of money. Why do people do this? Like our buddy Jesse Zumak just did it. You remember the big black eye on his Instagram? Kumi's guys.
Oh, Chad Zumak.
Chad Zumak. I called him Jesse Zumak.
Oh,
Jussie Zumak.
The shoe fits.
He wanted attention.
Yeah.
He wanted, look what happened to me. Oh, my God. And Jussie wants to be a victim. Look how hard, how desperately people want to be victims. It's the winningest place in the world.
South Park is right again.
Mm-hmm. No, it's absolutely true.
He got taken out by MAGA country. I said, what the hell was that?
No, Chad Zumak, again, I guess if he thinks that would give him an edge, which of course it didn't, because everyone knows it's bullshit. I mean, how ridiculous. Don't fuck with Cumia! And in Jussie Smollett's case, he's extremely successful. He's got this great career, but apparently he thought he wasn't getting his due as a singer.
Wow.
And he had this gig coming up. And by the way, the gig sold out as soon as this happened. Like, oh my God, can Jussie make it? Can he possibly sing? He's been beaten up so badly. And then remember, it sold out and he showed up with 4 security guards. All right, so they're yelling at, hey, Empire, F word, which is so ludicrous that someone would know he was Empire guy Jussie Smollett at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's so dumb.
Randomly knew he was going to be there.
Why didn't he hire white people?
Yeah, why?
I mean, isn't that a big flaw in his casting?
Because I think he doesn't trust white people. That would be my guess. He thinks that the Brotherhood, that he's safe with, it's an obvious, it's a little bit of a flaw.
It made no sense.
Yeah,
but
if I were a consultant, if I were a fake assault consultant, I would want white people to do this job.
Yeah.
I mean they're kind of smirking as yelling, it's MAGA country.
He writes the script. You would think he would have white people play the role of a white person.
But he doesn't know
like Hollywood. Come on, he's got to know. Is there a white person on Empire?
Well,
is there?
I don't know. I never watched Empire, but
don't think there are a lot of white characters.
Those two are readily available, so that's the other thing. Just they're
yeah,
there.
and you trust them. I'm trying to remember when this all started. 2 guys. It's MAGA country and all that stuff. He said they were white, didn't he? They looked like they were white, but they were wearing masks. Mm-hmm. So this is really his way of he has this perceived. He's been slighted, by the white world or whatever, or by the world in general. I think a lot of this has to do with Trump derangement syndrome. I think he hated Trump so much. He wanted desperately to be a victim of Trump.
Yeah.
And to prove what Trump does to people. I
agree.
I'm innocent.
Well, he's really holding it up too. Remember when he got thrown in jail and he's just yelling like he's not. Didn't he say if
he was afraid if I die in prison, I was murdered.
Right.
I would not kill myself.
Go in there. I did not do it to myself.
Yeah, people are still trying to kill him.
What a drama queen.
Oh, he's the worst.
All right, let's see.
And he still has not gone back to jail. He still hasn't finished his time.
Huh. Yeah. And then he said, "What did you say to me?" And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, "Hey, don't just beat my ass. Make it look like I'm fighting back and whatnot." So we did that. And then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a
the other one's acting now.
So I went like this.
It's like noogies.
Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real, like he really did get his ass beat. After I did that, I fake kicked him. I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't paying attention.
That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle.
Yeah, brilliant.
Poured it on his shirt. Then I finally put the rope around his face. I did not put it around his neck. I just placed it on his face, and that's where we took off.
Look at him running away. It's broad daylight in the reenactment.
Oh my God, I would watch a TV show that they were on.
I would too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anatomy of a Hoax. They looked pretty cool running away, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. The whole thing was really well choreographed. Wow.
Oh man, I like those guys.
You want me to find the Robin interview still?
The Robin
Roberts, right? Didn't you just say that?
Yeah, the GMA interview. Yeah. I mean, it's really, at the time, we were laughing at the time.
Yeah.
We just did not believe it. And that was a fascinating couple of weeks because right from the beginning, now, it really started with the whole sympathy train just took off from the station at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, oh my God, can you believe what Donald Trump has caused? Oh, this is terrible. And I support Jussie Smollett. And people, I stand with Jussie Smollett. And, oh my God, this is so terrible. It did exactly what he wanted. There were so many people expressing their sympathy and their outrage at Trump for causing this terrible beating of this black man in MAGA country. But then Chicago was, in my opinion, where the pushback really started from, because people were saying, that's not MAGA country at all.
Right.
That area, Chicago votes extremely Democratic.
Yeah.
And that particular area would not be anything close to MAGA country. Then a lot of people wondered about, why is he still wearing the noose around his neck when the cops get there?
Yeah, the officer had to tell him to take it off.
Yeah.
I would think that most people would take that off immediately.
And there were just so many questions, and then they couldn't find it on surveillance tape, and then people are just, logic is just starting to really settle in. But it took a few days of who goes to Subway at 2 a.m.
Right.
and who beats someone up in quote unquote MAGA country at 2 a.m.
And how do they know he's the Empire guy at 2 a.m. randomly?
It was just so ludicrous. And then the Chicago police started to leak a little bit that we're not so sure this happened. And once the police started to weaken and leak, the Chicago media was picking up on it. There were a few reporters, I remember specifically, who were reporting that, there's a lot of questions about whether this happened. And naturally, this is a big deal because they've spent so many hours going through security tapes that this has been a very expensive investigation. And if this wasn't necessary, this is a big problem. And then they got the Osundairo brothers to break. They had an attorney. I get the impression that their attorney was kind of trying to take them to the place where they just didn't get charged and told the story and did as little damage to them. As far as I'm concerned, they're completely undamaged. In fact, I think they're doing fine.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait for the show starring the Osundairo brothers.
I know. The name's great, too. And also, they're mad at Jussie because, just give it up, you asshole.
Yeah.
It was a dumb idea, and we were dumb to do it, and we admitted it. Just fucking admit it. And honestly, at this point, what does Jussie Smollett do?
You mean going forward or for a career and for money?
Wouldn't he be better off saying, I know, I'm the dumbest fuck in the world. I'm so sorry.
No one does that, no. No, everybody digs in and just pretends like what happened happened.
But I don't think you can ever move forward.
Yeah, well, come on. His career's shot, right? So
Yeah.
what's he going to do? He should probably get a job at that Subway.
If he
by his house.
Well, let's see. If he apologized, I think there are a lot of people in the black community that would accept it and say, maybe the entire world, a lot of people will just say, I mean, if he apologized, how could anyone criticize that? Because everyone's been saying he's lying all along. So if he admits to it, how is that worse?
Couldn't he cop a mental health plea? Like,
yes,
that
would definitely be connected to it.
I was depressed.
Except, though, don't forget one thing, Trudy.
I am not suicidal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty dug in. He has no choice because he has played the whole time. He takes security guards with him everywhere he goes, although how long will he be able to afford security guards?
Right, yeah.
Well, remember, doesn't he come from money in his...
His entire family.
He made a lot of money.
Family.
He comes from lying, too. Remember, he got a DUI, which, by the way, He
comes from lying.
He does. He comes from lying. He comes from a background of lying. Very few people reported this. This would have been really nice to know when this first happened, or would have been very nice to know when the Chicago police acknowledged that they thought it was a lie. He got a DUI in 2007, and he lied to the police and gave them his brother's ID card.
Right. Yeah.
He tried to get his brother nailed for a DUI that he was responsible for. So he had a history of lying to the police. But this one just kind of stood on its own. So anyway, here he's on GMA. I'm excited.
At first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth.
Does he look comfortable lying?
Then it became
Usually people that lie, there's some tells, and there's usually, I mean, having watched so many true crime interviews, people are really nervous when they're lying. Usually, he doesn't look nervous at all.
He's an actor.
Well, I was going to say, never forget that.
The actor that nobody ever heard of.
Oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
What happened that night?
So heavy.
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's like my uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up. And then we got back to the apartment. There was no food.
Your creative director's not like your uncle?
I went out to Walgreens thinking that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke. Walgreens was closed.
Oh, you're so cool.
So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm going to run to Subway. Which
I got to say, brilliant move by creating such a backstory for the characters.
Yeah. Too much information, though.
It is, Trudy. It really is.
across the street, and I'm going to get a salad. Do you want anything? I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager thinking that...
The other thing that's too much is there's too many pins on his jacket.
Yeah, too much flair. Too much flair.
5 pins on his jacket.
What are they all?
It's a black fist.
1, 2, 5.
A ribbon. I can't tell you. I don't know what that is. Another rainbow.
I have to ask
His
this.
identity.
Why is Robin so gullible about this? Just because is this just because he's gay?
Well, I mean,
sure, it's that and.
But
who would think that he would make up such a fucking stupid story?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that looked at the facts.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
she's got an exclusive.
I would think Robin would be angrier than anyone.
Well, she is now. We never
because
saw
she's
part
gay.
2.
She's never said a word about it.
Well, you're not going to say a word about it.
Oh, if I were her, I would say, you know what? I'm really angry. I really believed him, and I was excited to interview him. I thought I was bringing a very important story to our audience, and he fucking stabbed me in the back. He humiliated me.
He was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other clients.
Who cares?
I said, yo, call me when you can. He called me immediately, and while he was on the phone,
While he was on the phone, that's the other thing.
I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire.
You're so funny, Jesse.
And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see
because you're such a badass.
Masked. And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then, we started tussling. It was very icy. Tough. And we ended up tussling by the stairs.
What an asshole. I punched him
fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back.
A total and self-serving
Then
lie.
It just stopped. And they ran off.
Oh, God,
and I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was sitting there. And my manager was still on the phone.
Oh, he heard the whole thing.
I picked up the phone, and I said, Brandon. And he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped. And then I looked down, and I see
that's where Chad Zumock used.
Which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
you didn't
because
see?
It was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all
It felt like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds.
Are you okay?
I can't tell you, honestly. I noticed the rope around my neck, and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
Did you get any kind of description of the attack?
I gave a body description, and because I saw this, right here or whatever, but I didn't see, I can't tell you what color their eyes were. I can't tell you, and I did not see anything except the second person I saw running away. And the first person, I saw his stature. I gave the description as best as I could. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. People can wear ski masks and nobody's going to question that.
Fake as hell.
The police have gone through a lot of video and they were able to capture an image of 2 people of interest. Have you seen that image and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
She's just so bought into this.
It's
so bad.
Their size or what? Why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there. For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind.
He's a really good liar, isn't he?
That's
really good. Really good. Good job, Jesse.
Never did.
Eyes.
If I was your
Why did you
line
hesitate to
consultant,
wanna
I would really give
call
him
the
an A.
police?
You know, there's a level of pride there. We live in a society where,
There's a level of pride.
as a
How
gay
he
man,
ascribes all this greatness to himself.
how
It's making
to
him
be
cry.
weak. And I'm not weak.
He is crying. You're
I'm not
right.
weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak. So, I mean, I can accept that there was pride there. There's also privacy. You know, at the end of the day, look what has happened.
Oh, boy.
Look what has happened.
He produced
So,
tears. He did.
I don't.
Quiet.
I'm glad that Frank called the police. I'm glad that we reported it. During that time before they came, took them about maybe half
Really
hour to
glad
come.
you reported it, huh?
During that time, I was looking at myself, just like checking myself out. I saw the bruise on my neck.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
Had the noose on.
The
Around my
noogie.
neck.
That's the
And
noogie
then
scar.
I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it, when you have a bad bleach.
What a mess.
So then I was like, there's bleach on me too. So when the police came, I kept the clothes on. I kept
And the news.
the rope.
So you had the rope on.
Yeah,
the
that was pretty
entire
weird.
time.
It wasn't like
That was kind of a
wrapped
tell,
around,
buddy.
But yeah, it was.
Nobody understands it.
Them to see. I wanted them to see what this was. I told them what happened, everything. I also asked
No,
them
you
to turn
planned
the
it,
body
so
cams
you
off
wanted to
because
show
they were
them
trying to
the
stay
fruits of your labor.
And I was like, please just come in. Like, I don't want a big scene with my neighbors and with like the second round of police officers.
And why were you still wearing the noose?
To where it happened, and I walked
Wanted
them
them to
through
see it.
exactly what happened. And I looked up and I saw that there was a camera directly on the light post that is in the intersection.
Oh, weird.
So I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, it's the same one you saw a few days ago when you planned it.
I think he's an embarrassment.
The camera inside of the casing was facing north, so they didn't have it. And that was disappointing.
Yeah, because you
All a lie.
didn't pay that much attention.
Have been
Didn't
supportive
know that when you
and
found it.
loving and understanding. And then as time has gone on, and that there's no, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to Subway.
It's not MAGA country.
Sub-Zero.
Subway's open 24 hours. Like, people kill me when they say things like that because it's
The great sleuth.
24
Yeah,
hours
because they
for a reason.
outsmarted you.
And when you're hungry at night.
Because
and
you
ain't
weren't
got
as smart as you thought you were.
He's a little wise guy.
facing north. How is that my issue? It feels like
Look at the fake
if
anger.
I had said
What a fucking
it was a
phony.
Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more.
Is that so?
And that says a lot about the place that we are in our country
So
right now.
he knows everything about how we think.
These people
He knows us
are-
better than we know ourselves.
He's written this whole episode.
He has.
And
Directed it, produced
it's
it.
just not okay.
And he grew up a child actor.
For all of the
His sister was a child star.
that you see someone report
You had
something,
more privilege than most people.
the fact that it happened,
Period.
and you say to them, well, why you wait until now? Just remember that mine was reported right away. And look what has happened.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
When did you, because as you said, it was an accurate account of the timeline, valuable information. When did you make that information available to the police?
We had to give the phone records, which they didn't originally ask for my phone records. They asked for my phone.
Remember
They wanted me to
he didn't want to give up the phone, did he?
No, not
He
at
didn't
all.
give up the phone,
Look at that
did
guy.
he?
Look at that mouth of that guy.
But
He did not give them the phone.
No.
I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because I have private
Text to
pictures
the
and
Osundairo Brothers that I erased.
my partner's number, my family's number, my castmate's number.
And
my
you can't
friend's
trust the
number,
police.
Well,
my
Howard, it's so
private emails,
ridiculous.
My private songs, my private voice memos.
My
I
private
don't know if that's gonna be
songs.
the hand over my
Yeah, the police are going to
The
steal
cops
his
will be jamming his music all over the police
Chicago,
station.
The Chicago police band puts out a song. It's a copyright issue.
Earlier this week, he submitted phone records from within an hour of the incident. But Chicago police said they were limited and heavily redacted, adding they need additional information to corroborate the investigative timeline. His attorneys
They like
tell
to
us they
have
are
the whole phone.
cooperate. Smollett also says he has been troubled by inaccurate claims.
I don't think so.
Heard that were inaccurate.
That I had said that they were wearing MAGA hats. I never said that. I didn't need to add anything like that.
Yeah, you added
Called
enough.
me a They called me There's no which way you cut it. I don't need some MAGA hat as the cherry on top of some racist sundae. I've heard that.
Some racist sundae.
Which I so
Very
resent.
good, Jesse.
Oh, boy.
Go out and get a tuna sandwich and a salad to meet somebody. That's ridiculous. And it's offensive. Yes, there's grinding.
Oh my
yes, there's
God.
all of these things, which I have not been on in years. I can admit that I was on that back in the day. I was single. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But
God,
I have not been on that in years.
Fucking
But aside from
liar.
that,
Oscar-winning performance.
offensive. And I absolutely resent that narrative.
Thank God you've got these security guards now. That's all I can say.
Quiet.
It's unfair to the investigation. It's unfair to, I hate this word, but it's unfair to the victim.
What were your injuries? What were
They did x-rays.
Oh, you okay?
I didn't have, it was reported that I had like fractured ribs or
I
cracked
heard about
ribs or
that.
something like that. That wasn't true. I was just in a lot of pain. You know, my clavicle was messed up. My rib was,
You think I could take him in a fight?
it was cracked. Like I walked into the hospital. I walked out of the hospital.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I can just assume.
Because I targeted myself.
I come really, really hard against 45.
Oh, 45. You can't say the word.
Hard against his administration. And
he sent
I don't
those
hold
two?
my tongue.
I want to ask you about Jussie Smollett.
I think that's horrible. It doesn't get worse, as far as I'm concerned.
Were you aware that he made that statement?
I saw it. I don't know what to say to that. You know?
Well, just wait till he knows it's fake, and then you can respond.
You know, I appreciate him not brushing over it.
And there is no doubt in your mind what motivated this
Jesse
attack.
wanted him to
I can only go
apologize
off
or
of
something.
words. I mean, who says empire?
Nobody.
This MAGA country.
No one.
A bad screenwriter?
No one.
Ties a noose around your neck.
No one.
And pours bleach on you.
You did.
No one.
And this is just a friendly fight. I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed.
Kind of right there.
And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the responsibility to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
Okay, Jesse. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Part two.
Holy shit.
Part two coming up now.
Pending.
MAGA.
Oh, man. And then it was the next day that they said, the Chicago police said, this is a fraud. He made it up.
Wow.
We've got the Osundairo Brothers. They have described all of the machinations to put this thing together. And I think they even suggested what he might be charged with. And then Robin wasn't at work.
It's crazy.
It was so weird.
I'm surprised that's never leaked, the part two.
Yeah, that is surprising.
She actually did the interview then.
Yeah, they teased it. They said part two tomorrow because then all the stuff broke. They're like, oh, yeah, we can't run this. Hey, why doesn't Amy Robach leak it now? Could she get her hands on a
No, or TJ.
TJ Holmes?
Why? So, Robin, do you think she didn't go to work because she was
I think it's very
embarrassed?
possible. I think it's very, very possible, yeah.
Or she's mad at the police for charging her?
No, I think
just
my
needed-
guess would be embarrassment.
And they
But that's when you
probably
kinda
told
have
her, stay away. You know, I mean, they probably did.
But it's not... for believing in him, that's not her fault.
No.
It doesn't make it her fault that he fucking lied his ass off.
Right.
She probably felt that she should support him because he's a gay guy and she's a lesbian. Who would fault her for that? I really don't fault her for that.
Well, if it
I
were
think she was a little carried away with it, but I don't know. I don't know that she said anything that terrible.
had it been an actual true story, had it really gone down the way you said, then she'd be like, you know.
She brought up that people
Pulitzer Prize
disagreed with it. I don't know. I thought it made her look worse by not being there. Like it's so shameful that, you know, she can't even go to work the next day. It's not her fault.
Well, I just wonder if the news executives were like, just stay home.
Yeah.
You know?
Although she runs that show, don't you think?
Yeah, I
she
kinda
wanted to
do.
be there. She could tell them to pound salt.
And she does well. It's not like she's going to get blown out for believing Jussie Smollett. A lot of people believed him.
He he manipulated the manager by calling him. Did he call his manager?
Yes.
So
yes.
he manipulated him
Yes.
by having all of that happen. He was the witness to it.
Exactly.
He needed a witness.
How many people are on the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning? I mean, really? That's bullshit, especially with your manager. What a crock of shit. What an asshole. Okay.